ntokwa the Ecosono, era Benjamin and Sia, energy and policy analyst Ninkomo on this very particular issue. Now, yes, say, some common I bet you say, I hear ya, Tokona escalate I hear na. It may affect your mind with the energy. I didn't bet so that in case of any shock, you bet me absorb a shock no, as a country. Now that I enjoy a reduction of the fuel, and I'm going to say to prove shocks no, you bet me absorbing na. Opening Benjamin Insia, TN Canopy, I want to know the 2.3 FM. Opening my channel pay.
Yeah,
Just a pobia. Good, yes. Iran is rent away, and I say, and yet they say, for chromatity so in spite of Tokana Ekoswano. Well, but what think about more and just and Tokama Fikwana Ashasi and T and Yanya Beconin. We are able to say, or mine, Ebony say, yeah, if there is any shock from Tokano Womokunwa, because we him say Iran, one of the leading producers of oil. Now, company say world market oil no issue to cost lower. Do we have any absorber to hold the shock?
But as I think in the short term, the only absorber being here is a strong currency. Yes, it's very, very strong against the dollar, and strong means that we need to have a very stable CD rate against the dollar in the coming windows or in the coming weeks, because Masana. Anytime international market price number said, and so because whenever these escalations happen, as my market, for example, those crude oil and caviar a ton $65, $62, and they a ton around $76.
Almost $76, right?
Yeah, $76 per barrel. That is Brent crude. You know, Ebema finished product na ye tonu chromanum so Egama so ne bona kosro kakra. The finished product ne bo kosra. That's it. We see also a depreciation acquire dual effect and a dual impact on the export na amane bona ine. As only stable currency, yes. The only factor which ma have the international price factor dinama bono ebe kosro kra en kosro pisa. But one cost with German is now so depreciate a double wahala. So in the short term, I think the Bank of Ghana and the Ministry of Finance they also made some of us stable at a very lower rate, maybe acquire maybe 11 and as be at 10.50.
And I see the Nakos Rockacra and in dollar no dollar no and in number 12 cities, 30 pesos.
So the aggressive commercial rate and I'm around 12 cities, that means that in the coming weeks, petrol bobet might especially over this current window, and the coming window which begins July. Now, July, for example, then I'm actually Bloomberg, and that price of diesel, international price of diesel, per metric ton, they are ton around 589 or almost $600 per. Metric in the last 4 weeks, it bit me out on around $730 per metric, which means $130 per metric in the Kaho, and that also means that July, I would say diesel book or so. This still in the sign depreciate the rather diesel board on the percentage increase locally in a run about 10%, and about 10% that would mean a born air call 14 Ghana cedis per liter, which I don't think that. Which may sustain the economy. So
I see.
Yeah. Problem, major thing in the short term is to make sure that the city is very strong. City is stronger. I think that it may some of the shocks. But in the medium and long term, I think, and that is one thing that I make us say, oh my God, planning, you're failing planning because products need to crude media with our various partners, now in 2019 year about 71 million barrels a year, and that is about almost 230,000 barrels a day. But in the SWAT year about 48 million barrels 94. And SWAT now a man about 135,000 barrels. And no crana 135,000 barrels a day. a bit more feeding into Tamawa refinery, a bit more feeding into sent you now or much me a refinery. So a basana some of these premiums and transport cost escalation, insurance escalation as a result of products in the Middle East urban, a free home home toyen. In the medium term, you also say I think that we need to make sure that toll works.
I will say you're not tall,
yeah, in the medium term.
In the medium term, yeah.
Yeah, we say HB the moment toll start refining, toll between I supply almost 60% or even more of local consumption. Almost 60%, that's the same to Sumaya, which means within the value chain, we produce the oil here, we refine the oil here, we sell it locally. Now, Abuai and Ama, some of these external shops in the bar, and it also creates a lot of jobs for those of them in the refinery business. And also,
so you think Yamato or Pretia no and was a buffer against any volatility coming from the war?
Yeah, volatility, yeah, it could be. That is one. And the third part is that tours or refining now, or they might create that buffer. Strategically, people are also arguing, say, was saying Boston, so reserve a strategic stock, or some stock could be Gua, Agribiano, say, we miss us here. Now we're pushing our stock onto the market. But we also live in a very liberalized petroleum downstream. There are also other private companies or more imported products neighbor. And say almost that these private companies are also able to get these products and import I told the too much slots select products or what you call adulterated, and I say product no say kakra na be or mine car, because we've seen experience where product get store to a mindful for buy that products no turn on a sledge and as a slaughter na any papa be adulterated they ukrum ha be free. So people are also arguing say so boss can also reserve strategic stock. But I think that argument, yes, even though it will hold, but the papa so far as we have a liberalized system, market other businessmen are importing products and they are importing huge volumes. I don't think that the only thing that we need a strategic reservoir now, because the private businessmen are able to push in the products into the system, and if they're able to push in the products into the system at any point in time, I think that the only thing we can do is to make sure that the city is very strong for them to be able to get the products into the system. But here, we must make sure that toll works, and if toll is going to work, then also needs that we need to integrate our upstream to our downstream, and that is where I will say the products more from could produce either from any of the partners. And it should be part of the requirements. We a partner to crude local or domestic market must be set first before even looking at external market. So we ENI Okruma, we Talo Okruma, we Petro AC Okruma, we Cosmos. We be our upstream number or producer within the whole architecture, and also say the local refineries near first mark domestic use and so in the medium term, we must make sure that for refinery creates a certain buffer for us when some of these escalations happen in the Middle East. But the
so looking at the situation, it means going forward in about a week or 2 weeks, there could be a full price hikes.
Yes, certainly, because and the problem is that you see, medical cannabis so this particular government sometimes they are directionless, and they've allowed the businessmen to take advantage of the market and then doing their own thing. For example, look at this current window. Nanka was a bono kofum more than Yahui, but price boss no so far total any boss answer. Shell eti bonus about bonus petrol bonus by less than 4%. While the petrol there was less than about 9%. Even let's even put on a lower side less than about 8%. But multi petrol also only about 4%, from 12 something to 11.98 or so. And these are not quite or multi so less than 1% because around 12.89 and nobody about 12.85. So Oman tea fuel. So total for example, not on tea so answer by Shell the American. well, NTA Swans. So most of the OMCs have taken advantage of government inconsistencies, so they live Babaka on for living Kahono. Into Omantium petrol boss. But
still a buying a suspend this one Ghana cities levy.
Suspend it, but when Timan share OMCs no, I'm Omantium bonus. So because the projection was that over last window, any current window we are, city no, appreciated by about 15%. So the city appreciates by 15%. Not even who you see 11 Ghana cities to Shebwa or the Shebwa. I would say bonus drastically because we're talking at the time product price no. Very lower. We are talking at the time, CD no are appreciating, but the OMCs did not do that. Or I don't know whether it's the fault of the BDCs or the fault of the OMCs, but the market is still stagnant with all prices. Most on the price boards, prices of the first window of June, the likes of Well, the likes of Total, the likes of others. The Wetima idea Star Oil.
I see.
Nick Petroleum, Star Oil, Natimachi Omobo. But most of the bigger OMCs did not reduce their price.
And yes, I'm buying man any shares microphone.
Yes, and Obia in any way you any.
And also FMI area. So but looking at the situation we find ourselves now and the suspension of the one Ghana city's fuel energy levy, can this levy see the light of the day?
It depends because in the first week of July, if we allow what is happening currently to happen. In the first week of July, a bond with me up more than 10%. Because only on the international market, prices have skyrocketed averagely by about 9% on the international market. The CD has also seen some form of depreciation. And our more net commercial price me around 12 Ghana cedis. So it means that next window come more than 15%. If the commercial price of the CD is 12 Ghana cedis, prices are likely going to escalate more than 15% beginning next window. And more than 15%, maybe Jaima OMCC ton diesel 12 Ghana cedis 88 pesos. What it means is that in the next window, July, 10% of 12 Ghana cedis 88 pesos, and that is more than 1 Ghana cedi per liter. And to the Kokanwa price, maybe is around 14 Ghana cedis. So for the first window of July, maybe the second window of July, the 1 Ghana cedi cannot be introduced. They did not introduce unless maybe price stabilize around August and September. Be a price no, and a corner aduba be a into me and Yanson will be our fuel prices. So and not be a fuel price.
All right. I mean, that's it. Thank you very much, Ira Benjamin Insia, energy and a policy analyst. I will share that 2.3 FM Sunni and a Ira Benjamin Insia and a pen watching in Kano, but. Let's stay on for the 8 a.m. business news. We will get to MPP. Why 2026? 31st January. No, I'm say one more flag bearer. Mist of moon common in Yemebia and 3 years within the party.